Hello, everybody, and welcome to Everyone Deserves a Chance. As always, we bring value to people that need it and where they need it. Okay, Karrie Klimas is our guest today. Forgive me if I butchered your name a little bit here. She's a time, mindset, and management specialist. It's time to slow down, review your goals. That's what I'm seeing in her bio. Review your goals and enjoy life more. And I am one of those guys that needs some time management here in place. She offers guidance as an extra set of hands for busy, ambitious individuals who are ready to improve their skills, abilities, and habits so they can grow, achieve their goals, and enjoy life more. She is a South Florida native with over 13 years of experience in networking, retail sales, communication, leadership, marketing, organization, and presentation skills. She has one-on-one sessions, and she's also a coach, a full coach, geared towards living with greater clarity and direction for people that are taking her services. Services are available in person and virtually. I'm going to link in the description more details about her, but I want to do justice here, and I would like her to get a chance to present herself. Kerry, thank you so much. And please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, great. Thank you, Silvius, for having me on today. And we just met yesterday, so I'm grateful for the time that we spent yesterday and making the time today to make this happen. Yeah, so things you said, Florida native, Broward County, college, corporate world for 18 years and been on my own for about 13. But when I got out of corporate, I started networking and meeting people, and a gentleman told me to consider branding myself and didn't know what that meant. And next thing I know, I'm known as a gift problem solver, GPS, gift problem solver. And met a coach along the way and believed in personal growth and finally need that accountability to help me grow every day. So I've been investing in my own human potential and been a life mastery coach. I co-led a communications workshop, and from my experience got me to where I'm at today because I was always good at networking, asking questions, follow up, organization. So here I am to offer my time to those who want to make the time to get things done.
Yes, I'm so happy that you said yes. We just met yesterday on a meetup. That's true. I decided on the fly to do this event with you because you touched on something that it's very important to me and to the people that I work with. We are a group of syndicators. We're new syndicators. I personally started somewhere in December of last year, and I dove right in and I went 100%. Which is about 10 to 12 hours a day, if not 18-hour days sometimes. And I was a business owner before I did that, and a family man, or I should say the other way around, because this is where the conflict is. I want to be a family man that owns a business, not the other way around. And time being the only asset that we have, it's where I personally struggle with. And it's not the goal setting. I did personal development. I went through the space. I love Tony Robbins. I'm not going to plug him here, but I do. I took my time to understand how my life works, and I see the big picture of it. When it comes down to actually executing it day to day, I do have lots of time impediments and issues. I don't prioritize the right way. Family that comes first all the time. I'm like, okay, I'll call you back, honey. And it happens 2-3 hours later. Kids, I am missing some events. I missed the last day of school for my daughter, the surprise party, because the little one had almost non-existing party, and the second one had a big party that I wasn't aware of. And that day I booked a trip. I had to fly to Florida. Please give us some insights, because I'm looking here, time, mindset, and management. How do we divide these two? What is time mindset? And then let's dive into the management part a little bit.
I guess in the mindset world, I have all the time in the world to knowing my priorities and willing to grow and learn and do things better. Because if I don't take that time to be aware of something, I can't change it. So having a mindset, say, I got this done. I'm going to get it now. There's no time like the present. Take action on it. Write it down. Make it happen. So this is a mindset that everything is right now in the moment. Taking the time to get things done and accomplished, because when we get something accomplished, we feel good, and then taking time to reward ourselves. But we don't know how to mind our time and have a good attitude on our mindset. and keep waiting rather than taking it now, then how are we ever going to manage it?
I'm an action guy, and that's not my main concern when it comes down to what I'm doing. I'm doing too much. I'm taking action to the other level. Like, I think I'm 10 guys sometimes. I'm action on top of action. Anything that comes towards me and makes me uncomfortable and I don't know it, I'm jumping in it and I'm going to do it. So action is not an issue, and taking action is not an issue. Living in the moment, in the now, again, I'm fully present. I'm aware of my surroundings at all times, and I know what life throws at me. I take it as an opportunity to grow all the time. It's just, how do I manage it? Because when I do everything in now, I just find myself without much time. So
It's just you saying that is going to create your reality. You are right. You say you don't have enough time, but I tell people I have all the time because I know my priorities. I make myself a priority and know that it's important to me. I communicate it effectively, knowing it's important. I pay attention. I ask questions. And knowing what somebody told me and I made it important. I told them, I made them let them know it was important to me as well.
Okay. So let's dive a little bit deeper, because I want to go deeper into, how do you do that? How am I supposed to do that? I know I create my reality every day and every moment with everything I say. My words are very important to me. My reality becomes whatever it is. Whatever I believe it is, that's what's going to be my reality. Whatever I say, it imprints and it becomes my reality. Now, for a person that is not in the personal development space, or it's a beginner in the personal development space and picks up a book, and that book says, eat that frog, or the one thing, do one thing at a time, or prioritize family first, or prioritize business first. There's so many things out there. What are we looking for when we're creating the roadmap? What's the most important part? The goal setting, planning, or the management, the time management that we are associating it with a goal setting? Or how should we go about it? We do a goal setting first?
I would suggest that, again, most people don't take the time to even sit down and relax and actually look about where they're currently at that moment. So most people are too busy and are running around rather than taking the time to sit back and reflect. So I say, get down, go to the beach, sit somewhere in nature for a while, grab a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, personal and professional. Start brainstorming and putting something on paper that you can, things you want to get accomplished or worked on. Even before I got here, I had in the car, I had ideas and I started writing the things I want to get accomplished. So now it's here. Now I got to take action on it. So my goal might be looking at today and actually getting it done, because I'll feel good to throw this in the garbage. But I have written things on here. But then maybe actually looking at each of those activities and putting a day and time that you want to get accomplished. Is it Friday? Is it Saturday? Is it next month? And then maybe it has to be then resorted again, because maybe there's somebody put July and somebody put August or September. But being able to look at our business, from our career and our finances, how much money we want to make, how many clients we want to have, how many follow-ups are we doing, and coffee appointments, meeting people, if that's in a entrepreneurial world, depending on the individual. And then the personal side, there's family, there's their home, there's their car. Lots of times people have things to do at home. They have projects to do and haven't got it accomplished yet. There's the bathroom, but maybe there's the roof, or maybe there's the garden or closets that need to get finished, or time with the wife and having enough date nights with the children, having a quality time with them without the phone, and making sure you spend, having a number, a couple hours a week for that, being able to look at these things, and then going to the dentist or their doctor, or getting their will done, the fun activities they like to have, or going meet new friends. All these are ideas, but again, being clear about how consistent people want to do this. At once a week, going to the gym. I'll say that the gym is usually one of the things they're working out most people struggle with, and they want to lose weight and maintain, but that consistency and commitment to looking forward to the ideal outcome and what day that number is happening. Somebody took off 2 pounds a week, they'd actually have a goal in mind what day they're going to lose that 20 pounds.
Now I'm getting a little bit into the mentoring side of things.
Yeah.
So I set my goals very far in advance. So I have a 5-year plan. I usually have a 10-year goal. Then I have a 5-year plan. And the 5-year plan has a 3-year plan, a 1-year plan, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 1 week, and 1 day. So that's how and I work it backwards. I'm bringing the 10-year plan into what is it that I can do today to move the needle towards that direction. And in my perspective, It has to do with numbers most of the times. It's a number that I set up there. And based on that number, I have to do certain kind of activities, either buying a property or purchasing a new business or getting into a syndication or any kind of partnership that I can do in order to move the needle towards that direction. So on the goal setting side, I think I'm fine because I realize that I can do anything I want. As long as I have my direction, my priorities are straight, are good. On the family side, I have different kind of goals, and those goals usually infringe as far as time with my business goals. When I put it down on paper for today, for example, like the goal was to spend 2-3 hours with family. And the first meeting that I had, it was a complete mishmash. I went to an event where it was a private event. I wasn't supposed to be there, and I ended up leaving. And now I blocked 3 hours for that specific event. Those 3 hours, I felt like I lost, although what I did the first thing, instinctively, I went home. Because I'm like, okay, if this time is not allocated to the business like was supposed to, at least I'm gonna put it towards family. So I had fun with my kids, I enjoyed a few hours there. Then all of a sudden reality hit me again. I'm like, God damn it, this was my business time. So I jumped in the car, drove back to the office, picked up all the stuff where I left, and I started grinding again into the business that I'm running right now. So the priority here, short for today, was family. And I think I touched on that because I managed it on the fly, but I destroyed my plan. And because my planning was off, my whole day lost balance. So I don't know. That's why I said I'm coming down into more personal coaching stuff. If setting the goals in a long-term direction are fine and we can work backwards, when things are happening, because life happens, right? When things are happening, how do we bounce back? What checks and balances are you using or recommended to bounce back to your schedule or to the projection of your schedule that you had for the day?
Being able to look, one of the things I support my clients is that we do something together. It's like a 5-step action plan. So I go through the 5 steps with them. And then before they leave, one of the goals is to pull out your phone and get your phone out. I want you to set an alarm or a calendar event sometime in the morning, sometime in the afternoon, and sometime in the evening. I don't care. Put 3 dates 3 times on there and repeat it. And you're going to take 15-30 minutes every day to go through the 5 steps we did. Because if they're not reviewing, reflecting on it, that paperwork will get lost and be totally forgotten. I tell them if they keep it in a binder, because the more we take our time to reflect and look at it, like I have a grocery list. Now I want to go to the grocery store, get my car washed after we're done. Okay, well, I want to look at my grocery list to make sure I bring it with me so I know what I want to get to go to the store. I don't just run all over the store without a list, because if I have a list, I can get it done and get out so I have more free time to do the things I love. I don't want to live at a grocery store. But having these things ahead of time to be prepared, or when things change, being open, wow, okay, maybe this is a good opportunity to do this instead. So you went home, which is fine, but being able to have other list of things. Let me look at my calendar, see what else I had important. I write on a planner for tomorrow. Maybe I'm doing it today instead. When time does open up, and maybe you could have done something else. Oh yeah, I wrote all those things down. Maybe it's a good time right now to do that. Again, having that list again in one place and keeping it with us. And my clients, it's like a double-sided, so they'll write a list. And the back is open most of the time. I say, okay, at least when you're looking at it, you can cross things off, but you can also add. If you had to add on different paper, at least get a piece of paper, keep it all together, because that's the point. If it gets scattered, and we're going to not really organized. Because when these things come up, or maybe having it and highlighting it and getting it to know what our top priorities are.
Okay. One of my mentors at one point told me to write my goal, and it was a very tough one. It wasn't even a goal. What I had to write off was a question. Is this real? Is this reality? What arguments do you have so you can judge it as reality? That was the question that I had in my wallet, and I had to wear it with me for years. It came in play because I was going into a period of transitioning and bettering myself, and a lot of stories were coming up. So in order to remove those stories, I had to all the time stop, and having that note in the wallet was my reality check. I was just pulling it up and I'm like, okay, is this real or this is a story? And if it's a story, where is it coming from? So that was one of the things that I can reference to the list that you're talking about. Grocery shopping, I don't do much, but having a list, I understand it. But nowadays, I'm more likely to be on my phone. So it's just a little bit more difficult than pulling a piece of paper and writing it down. But also I have, on full disclosure, I got sticky notes everywhere on my desk, on my screen. And I do have notes on my phone. I take them all the time. I just don't go back to them most of the times. When they're in the
Why
phone,
not?
I don't know. It's just, if I'm looking through in a matter of 5 days, I think I had 20 notes.
Would there be value to actually take the time? And what would you tell somebody like me if I had all those notes and I told you I had every different place? What would you think about? What would be a good suggestion for me to do? Would it be best to maybe have it all in one place? Cross it off. Have it good to feel, they throw the notes away and go bye-bye.
Yeah, but
What
how
would you
what
tell
are you
somebody else?
using a journal for it? Because I think that I'm not organized on that. And when that comes to, I'm not definitely not organized because those notes, they drag on me. I'm always thinking, okay, I know I missed something on those notes. I know there's something really important in one of those notes, but I just can't remember which one is it anymore. So I give it a quick scatter look and I'm like, okay, it's not here. It must be somewhere on my desk. Some of those details that you're right. I do not empty my bag at the end of the day when it comes down to burning that piece of paper or throwing it in the trash and just move my thought away from that specific task. I usually do that when I have a project and I complete the project. When it's done, the reason why I want to finish it is because I want to take it off my plate. I'll just move on to the next one. So there's definitely a lot of value in there. But what should I do now? Should I move everything on paper from the computer or should I move everything?
I'd
What do you
say
suggest?
because I'm a woman and I can carry your purse. So I have a purse size planner. So when I'm with people and sit down with people, I'll grab the date that I meet them. Like I was with a lady today and I grabbed the date that I sat down with her and I took notes like a server at a restaurant. So I remember the date I met her and maybe did some notes we talked about. So if everyone look back at that, I can go, oh yeah, I talked to her on that day and that person has interest. My goal is next to actually put it in my phone as the next follow-up because there was an interest. Now the back of the book has a notes section. And so I'm using that as my go-to when I also have a place that I want to put all my notes. I'm like, oh yeah, I got one planner and that's where I'm going to keep everything. You know, what most of the time. I mean, I tell people have some kind of plan that you like, that you feel good holding it and you like looking at it and it's got something you can write in. Like, all right, if it's flimsy, I like a hardcover. There's different sizes.
Mine
You
is
know?
fairly big.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
Panda planner. It's a really good one. I have lots of notes in it and I love it. But I can't keep it in my, I don't have a purse and I can keep it in my back pocket. It's usually in the desk in the office. I have multiple businesses are multiple and I have multiple for multiple businesses. But yeah, I have some cell phone again, it comes like handy and I start putting notes on the people. What are you doing? I think it's great. What I'm doing, I'm adding notes to the people that I meet. Like I met you, I entered into my phone. Eventually, it's going to go into the CRM, into a program computer program where I can follow up a lot easier in the years to come. But it goes on the phone, and on you there on the phone, I can take notes. And my notes are usually exactly, I met her here and she's doing this and she's interested in that. So that's how I remember you. When you call me, whenever you call me, I know exactly where to pick up that conversation because that's the last time. That's very interesting. So I'm gonna have to find a purse.
Well, maybe the planner you take with you. I have a binder that does not fit in my purse because in the planner, I used to have my flyers of my different events that I do or my business. I had to fold them in half and put them inside the planner and the planner got fatter. So I decided to actually have a thin binder and then have my flyers in like a clear slide with the tabs. So I felt I was a little bit more professional and I'll carry this binder with me when I meet people. The planner is one thing, but the binder is, again, I want to have it is because it's going to be more professional when I show people and look at things rather than a folded paperwork that gets all crunchy. Again, I want to be more professional and prepared in case I need it. Doesn't fit in the purse, but it's one thing I had to have a habit to have to carry it. But I like it because it does feel like it's more professional. I can use it than pulling it out of my planner. Again, like the size of your planner, but using that one planner for everything so you don't get scattered with so many planners. Because that to me, it's too much things. It's just more chaos and more clutter. Like, where am I?
So we're
Like,
trying here to narrow it down, and I don't like the word
right.
try. We're doing it actually. Let's scrap that. Forget about
One
trying.
thing and one thing owner. So I have one planner, one binder,
one planner,
and
one binder for everything.
The binder has flyers of my events. And so when I open it, I can actually say, these are things I do, and have them read it like a menu. I said, is anything that interests you? At least that's why I can look at the flyer. Is a nice flyer. It's decorated from Canva. So it's a nice, pretty decorative one. I'm very proud of it. So again, it was getting crunchy in my planner and folded. I'm like, now let me just keep it on this one of these, what do you call it? Office Depot slides, this clear plastic thing that people can see.
Yes,
right. And it's got a tab at the end. So I know what order I put everything in. So if I have their documents to go with it, I also have that included so people can see it too. So I want it, because when I see things, I used to sell candles and purses and jewelry, but candles you can't touch when you're out and about. Now I used to wear scars or jewelry in my purse I used to carry and sell. They can touch it. People bought jewelry off my neck. So again, when people touch it like a tangible business card, it's like money. Oh, I like that. So them touching it rather than also hearing it is also being able, they can see it. Like if they have a menu at a restaurant, then you can touch it and look at it more often than looking at the wall menu. So I treat things like a menu. So they actually look at it, touch it. We can talk about it, see what they have interest in.
So let me ask you more about the system that you have, because being a coach, I'm sure you're serving your clients by putting a system in play. Is there a book out there, or there any references to the work that you do? Do you have a favorite writer, or maybe you want to suggest us a book that we can go and look at first?
I certainly appreciate that question. Goodness gracious. What's one? Think and Grow Rich would be one. But at the end of the day, I read a lot of books at one point too, until I hired a coach, because it's like looking at a menu and never put in action. Bring a book on basketball, but never actually playing the game. So find somebody who actually is doing what you read. Find the people who are actually like, wow, I've been reading about that. You actually teach it? Wow, that's great. I needed you. I've been looking for that. Because that's what usually happens. People find it and read it. Then the universe usually brings us a person who actually does what we've been reading and looking for.
Yeah, that's true. That's how the universe actually works. Exactly. You put the thoughts out there and they're coming back to you in a form of action. And usually the thoughts are getting formed when you read. Oh yeah, I think I can do that. I relate to that. Yes, I agree.
So now I'm like, wow, now somebody's actually teaching me and showing me how to do it. It's the how to that we get bombarded with so much information. There's so many perspectives that we don't know what to believe anymore, because we're so torn into Joe said this, Mary said that, Steve said that. Oh my God, what do I believe in? So it's not really about the book, but the goal is to listen to your intuition and trust ourselves what feels right for us, and feel that the person talking to us feels like it's aligned with our values and our vision and purpose in life. And it feels like that person is talking your talk, and work with them. That's the whole point. We hire experts. We all went to school. We had a teacher. If a student falls behind, there's a tutor. But all of a sudden, after we get out of school, there's no more teachers. So look at me as a tutor. I had to excel in math. I couldn't figure out the subtraction. Mr. Moore in 6th grade helped me figure it out, but the light bulb went off and I finally got it. But if I didn't have the time and he didn't give me his time to figure it out, I wouldn't have gotten it. So in a sense, we all have people in our lives who have shown us, not told us, but have shown us how to get things and do things that we didn't know, because they gave us the time, whether we paid for it or not. In a sense, we learned and grew. We all have new jobs, and when somebody else taught us from a job and showed us how to do the thing rather than going to job, I'm like, I wish somebody could teach me this. So being shown how to do something is much more valuable in a sense, rather than trying to tell us, for the basically of understanding it better. So we have the experience. Go, oh, now that I know what that show looks like, and I tested that out. Experience is key.
One of my mentors said that having a mentor is like taking the elevator instead of the stairs. And I keep that with me.
Absolutely. Yes. Coaches have coaches. I always use analogy like sports. Sports, everybody, there's a coach, there's a team, and the game in every sport is to win. The ball has to get to some kind of hole or some kind of goal. And then there's fans. Where in life, when people play sports, that structure is gone. Because every day in life, there's a sense of structure, showing up for practice. And the practice is supposed to make us feel better, build our confidence, and get us better. Now, if our attitude sucks, the coach says, get off and sit on the bench. But where in life we don't have those mentors that guide us to keep winning the game of life, and the people we are spending around and encouraging us to keep winning. And being around those kind of people that have practiced before us, they can teach us.
I'm 100% pro coach, having a coach. And that was one of the first things that I did when I started my personal development after I went to Tony Robbins' event. I think I went to UPW, Unleash the Power Within. As soon as I walked out of there, I knew for sure that I'm going to need a coach. And I did hire a coach right away. And I didn't know how to work with a coach. So what do you tell the people that never had a coach and have no idea how useful a coach is? Like I got myself a coaching business that was a millionaire and I wasn't one. And I think his teachings were awesome, but not related to me. They were great for a millionaire, but I wasn't there. So I didn't relate to him. 3 months later, without even telling him, I didn't want to show up anymore. And then my first coach got fired pretty much, or I got fired as a client. I didn't know, we gave up on each other because I didn't have the mindset necessary to work through my struggles. And I found the coach being an awesome guy, but I'm like, this guy speaks a different language, man. Like, I don't really understand him.
Well, I've been with the same coach, the same strategy, and same community for 10 years. It's just like working out. I'm not going to give up on a coach because that's my next, because I'm going this weekend to a 2-day personal development workshop that I'm part of. And so I'm going again. This workshop's offered every other month, but usually every month I'm committed to an 8-hour, 1-day personal development. So the way I look at it is I might walk in a sense, scared and anxious, but I always know it's been less and less than over the years, thank goodness. But because our monkey minds make it out to be worse than it actually is. But walking out of there a better version of myself, and very grateful for the ideas that come up to me and shared with me and the connections that I've made. So being committed to the coach as well as a strategy and not giving up, because there's always next level. I was like, why would anybody quit in working out? Don't you want to maintain your body weight? And don't you people still go and work out? It's going to be a lifetime thing. Getting your hair cut, going to the dentist. Why would I quit? I want to have a perfect smile. So I see the dentist twice a year. That's a good commitment. But where we don't stay committed to a process and a progress that keeps us moving forward.
So everything that we don't do pretty much dies, and everything that we do, it's pro-life and pushes us forward as far as bettering ourselves, right?
Right. I want to keep being a better version of myself and being around the people that appreciate that as well. Otherwise, if I don't continue practicing, I'm just stuck where I was last time and no willingness to be better than I was before. But I'm not willing to do that. The attitude, I'm like, nope, I'm always getting better. And everything is a reflection of that.
Consistency, it's the key, the underlining key that I'm getting out of this conversation. So you got to be consistent.
Commit. It all boils down to the first thing I tell people is clarity. Because when I'm not clear on something, luckily I have a coach I can go to get that clarity and go, then I get inspired and I can take action and make it happen. Because sometimes we get we're just combobulated with so much stuff. We're like, where do we start? I'm not clear about it. And being able to share that, and then trusting I get relaxed and ideas and what feels right, and then walk out going, thank you.
I love that word that you just used, combobulated. I haven't heard it in a very long time. Yeah, I read it into your bio and I'm going to bring it up right now. I was looking at it. You were looking like most of the people, and I, like myself, were looking for, I don't know, success, and we're looking for a better version of ourselves. We were looking into books, courses, classes, seminars, webinars, you name it, all kind of things. And when I'm reading your bio, it says everything started when I was looking into myself, right? Inward instead of outward. So you fix your inner world first, and then everything comes in play. I'm doing Course in Miracles right now with Alex Lovely from Legends Equity Group. He's my mentor. He's one of the main syndicators that I invest with. And he has this course on Sundays where he's talking about Course in Miracles. He's talking about a chapter out of there. And a couple of things that I remember, one of them says everything, it comes into two forms: a scarcity mentality, which afraid, fear. And the second version is love. And if you can discern which one it is, if it's coming out of love, then chances are it might be real. I'm not saying that it's real, but chances are it might be real. But everything that comes out of fear is not real.
What do you know what fear stands for?
The acronym for it? No, I don't.
Okay, so it stands for false evidence appearing real. So a false evidence appearing real, I'll say this, that a fear faced is a fear erased. So my world, there's faith or fear. I have total faith in myself rather than the fear. So I was willing to let go of the fear and say bye-bye. And I focused more of my attention and time on faith. That's the whole point. There's faith or fear, depending how much time and attention we focus on each one of them. Everything in life is a contrast. Up, down, back, and front. Sometimes we only see that I can't do this. I can't. Henry Ford said you can or you can't. You're right. Well, over here's the can, but over here's the can't. If over here's can, what are you willing to do to get to the can? If you can and can and we're can, oh, where's that can? Oh yeah, I left that behind. Like COVID for 2 years. All of a sudden, we're not really hearing about it. What happened to it? Did it disappear? No, it just something else took over. Something else distracted us from focusing on something else. Again, it's what we focus our time and attention on in the things that move us forward in a sense that we love and appreciate. So we're starting with ourselves, and we can love and appreciate other things in our life. That's what I was told my client, my coach said to me 10 years ago. What if I could teach you an exercise to quiet your mind so I can listen to my intuition and trust myself and focus my time and attention on a business aligned with my skills and abilities. So I don't feel like I work a day in my life because it's my natural skills anyways. I'm going to give my time and somebody, like, anybody want it? My hands work. My time works. Anybody want it? Let's get something done. Then let's celebrate.
Yes. So we're going a little bit backwards into understanding ourselves at the end of the day. That's actually the first step. That's my understanding. Like I'm looking
self-awareness. I call it self-awareness.
Yes.
If I'm aware of something, if I'm not aware of something, I can't change it. So I'm look forward to the self-awareness of the blind spots. If I'm a car, there's blind spots, but every blind spot could have been something else that's going to get me, yes, next level. Excellent. I didn't see that.
I noticed something when I buy a car usually, and this is something that I've read too, but I've noticed it a lot lately. When I buy a car, then I start noticing that car a lot.
Correct.
Streets, which I never existed before. So definitely the level of awareness grows, and it has to do with whatever it's in your inner circle, whatever you touch, whatever your world is, you expand it into the same exact real. Because I don't see anything else, and it works the same way with people. I noticed into the millionaire mindset, and I'm saying that because I go a lot of webinars and seminars with millionaires, investors in commercial real estate, and they do have this awareness that comes up. They're so fresh and present all the time. And I asked them many times, I'm like, how do you do 44 businesses? I'm like, how is that even possible? I'm struggling with one, this guy's doing this guy's bankrupt, there's so much stuff going on. How can you handle so many things? And on top of that, you have a thriving marriage.
So he says, you don't know that for sure.
It's whatever I see. Yes, absolutely.
We don't always hear it behind the doors, right? She probably give you a different opinion.
I never had the opportunity to go and ask that question, but I'll validate. It's like Elena Cardone has an event coming up, I think this weekend or this week. And I was contemplating with the idea of going because I think she has a different perspective than Grant Cardone on stage. He comes so strong all the time, and I know there must be issues there that we don't know about. And when it hits home, that's when you know, okay, this guy must have went through this because he can't do it any other way. So self-awareness, I guess, it starts the process of development, or it jumpstarts the process of saving time. Is that a good way of putting it?
And I also say, in a sense, we go from immature to mature, because in a sense, if we don't treat our business and treat ourselves professional, we're not growing up. So that's why I give my time to people to help them grow up and see things we didn't see before, which helps us make us more professional, and people want to do business with us. Would I want to work with me? Would I want to hang out with me? So if there's some things about my life and where I don't communicate and respect my time, why would I do that to somebody else? Am I defensive or am I open? Am I coming from a win attitude, or I win, you lose? But without that awareness and the willingness to be, I could do that. That's what happened to me, because I didn't know I was selling these products before, and I didn't know I had an agenda. I was like pushing these products on people until I became aware of how I operate, because I'm a machine. There's a mindset in here that needs to be upgraded, or software. So I was willing to upgrade my software.
Kerry 2.0, right?
Oh, exactly. Then 3.0 and 5.0, exactly. Yeah. But where people, that's where technology grows faster than most humans, because if companies don't upgrade these phones or these apps, we're not going to remember them. That's me. I won't be remembered if I don't leave a lasting impression on people and I make a better version of myself. And people, I trust myself, I'm making an impression on people that opportunities happen.
That's exactly how I feel, and that's exactly how I operate every day. I want to make sure that anybody that I meet leaves my presence in a better state. With more information and anything that I can give, I'm focusing more on that direction. And this is, again, it's something that I've learned. It's not something that I've done all my life. It's an upgrade version of myself. Just like you're saying, it came through introspection and also came through watching and understanding other people, understanding how they can operate on high levels. I meet syndicators, right? We're doing deals on the syndication deal. We get 30 days to raise, I don't know, $5 million or $10 million or whatever the size of the deal is. So stress is through the roof on the whole team and everybody else. And then you see these guys that are doing the deals over and over again, walking around with a smile on their face and they don't have anything to worry about. And I'm like, how are you even operating this way? How do I upgrade myself to get there? So I became hooked to these personal events because of these people that I meet in the rooms. They're so uplifting for me and they create like a vortex where I'm sucked into it. And I love it so much. That's why I keep going to these personal events. Now, it lasts me a week or two and then it starts winding down. And then the old version of me conquers me again. And then
We know, because that's the whole point. People get excited from these other big people, Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins. You get raw motivated, but then come back on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, meow, Friday.
Down.
Right. But that's the whole point. I'm here to say, hey, you spent money on those events. Wonderful. Let's take what you've written down and help you follow through to make that a habit. Because that's what I've done that too, gone to conferences and watch successful people. And then all that, those notes just sit down and I don't follow through because I don't have any way of putting into practice or having an idea how to do it. Sounded great. Yeah. I want to have steak and mashed potatoes and gravy. Doesn't mean I have it. I had to go somewhere. I have to pay for it. It does have to go in my mouth. There are steps involved. If I actually want steak and mashed potatoes and gravy and a glass of wine, we're just full of shit all day. We just talk crap. We take things about things we don't know anything about. We don't take ownership responsibility. And we probably hate people that do that. Take ownership responsibility for ourselves. Okay, I just said that, but how do I actually do that? Here's a straw. Suck it. How am I supposed to know how to do that? If I've never done it, what does that mean to me? It says, oh, so this is a word. It's got a label, but who knows? I don't know what it's supposed to do. Oh, what? Oh, do what? Oh, I didn't know that. That thing did that.
So what is the way of getting into your program and what is the program? What is the nature of the program? So I understand you are a coach and we can reach you and get actionable steps into recovering or getting our time back or understanding ourselves and putting the skills together. What is the outline of the program?
I call it a 5-step action plan for success. When it comes, there's different, because if we Google time management skills, you're going to get planning, prioritizing, organizing, managing stress, managing distractions, delegating. So there's a bunch of 12 different areas when it comes to time management. So my goal is to assess people where they feel they like to improve when it comes to these areas, and self-awareness and self-motivation is also on there as well. And so then there's also communication skills, from being clear and concise to public speaking, more active listening and understanding of ourselves as well as other people, being more empathetic and respectful and appreciative of ourselves and other people. So these are all nice words, but defining and actually knowing how to do that. And the 5-step action plan, I support people in a 2-hour window, is actually they walk away with a sense of an action plan that we brainstorm and create together, so they actually have more motivation and confidence to create the result they're looking for, instead of trying to figure out, waste time without that clarity and go, oh, now that I have a structure or a plan and the things I want, now I can work on it, versus trying to figure it all out. Never thought of that before.
I walk around with a planner, and my planner has like the pillars of my life, and one of them is family, another one is business, another one is health. So there are about 6 of them. And I rate myself and I give myself a score. That's how I started. I started with a score. I was somewhere around 5 from 1 to 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. And then I'm looking to that planner all the time and I'm looking to increase the numbers, but I'm just doing a real assess. Like I'm sitting down with myself. I'm like, did I really grow that? I noticed that my relationship went down. I noticed when it goes up, but I also noticed when it went down. So I have that mechanic and I have that skill that I can go back and look, and I'm putting it down. But if you just start today, and this is what I want to stress out a little bit, if you just start today, you start out today, and you don't understand the coach, you don't really want to join a program yet because you want to do a little bit of survey of the market. There's so many coaches out there. It's so difficult right now. It's so much a clusterfuck of information. Like when it comes down to coaching programs, everybody sells a coaching program. You really have to interview the coach before you even get a chance to understand what he's offering. And this is pretty much why I had you today on the show. I know it's a touchy subject for all the people in the syndications that I work with. And I'm taking the liberty of saying all, because we spend way too much time into these deals, into these business rooms, into these 3 days in a row without coming out, 18-hour days. So we keep pushing ourselves to the limits when it comes down to working. So that's why time management is very important. I also meet a lot of people that get divorced, separated. They run into major issues with their families. And they all say to me, Silvius, when I finally made it, I became successful. I lost the most important thing that I wanted to have. And now I want to give it everything away. But it's not happening. My wife already has a boyfriend.
I will definitely say that people often work more than actually enjoy themselves. They're too busy catching the new fish, the new client. People will give all their time to a client, potential client, than taking the time to remember themselves and their family members who they've already caught. People will work their calendars around waiting for the phone to ring, even if they blocked it for something important. Like I told some lady, so she has a doctor's appointment. I said, so if somebody called you to book an appointment, but you have a doctor, she goes, I canceled the doctor. I'm like, really? So you would stop working on what you need is important to you in your health, but you give your time to somebody else. So that's what we call people pleasing. So not being in charge of her own time and saying, you know what, if this person was really want to work with me, we're going to find an ideal time to work together. So that's the whole point of knowing what's a priority and then saying, I want to work with you. This time doesn't work. How about tomorrow? But often we don't always give a secondary outcome. That's one of the things I have personal assessments as well with my clients, from poor, fair, good, very good, when it comes to communication, respecting their time and others, and putting the phone down and confirming appointments. And you can't make something. What if you say, hey, can't make it tomorrow? Are you available? You took the time to say, hey, I'm available tomorrow or the next day. Either of that work for you. Like I had a lady today cancel, then I had to take the time and say, I understand. How's next Monday or next Thursday? Now, is she going to answer? I don't know. But that's for people. Why would I work with you? I now have to take more time to pull it out of you that I can't learn about you and you're not going to learn about me. So I guess the missed opportunity. Somebody else will.
I want to thank you so much for participating and being so open. And if I'm taking anything out of this conversation, I want to drive 2 points home. The self-awareness part. You don't have to please anybody. You don't have to do anything for anybody. You got to understand yourself first before you take any major decisions with your life and gain clarity. That's the number one thing that I'm taking away. And the second thing that I'm taking away, it's what you just said like a second ago. People give more time to other people to be people pleasers instead of giving their time to the people that they already caught in their fishing pole. And
they don't want to feel bad and they feel guilty, and that's the point, taking the mask. But my goal is to help give that time to them so they value, respect their time more, be more in charge of their time, and trust who they want to work with or be with will value that. If they don't, then maybe not meant to be somebody to work with or spend time with.
Yes, that's very true and very important. And I feel a little bit of guilt there because I'm guilty of doing it once in a while. And I'm going to work on it. Thank you so much, Kerry, for coming up today. I really appreciate it. How, if one of my listeners wants to find you, how can we find you? Do you have a website, or where should we search for you?
Absolutely. I'm going to give a couple of things. So I have a website. It's just called greatpartnershipsolutions.com. I have tabs on there for my services, my events. If anybody feels of interest, there you go. Interest in connecting, there's also a button to click for a complimentary 30-minute discovery call. We can learn more about each other, find if we're a great fit. And I also have a YouTube channel with over 80 short motivational videos on time management, communication, organization, my services, and always looking into anything you're here. I have clients say, Karrie, your videos inspired me. It motivated me to start getting organized. I said, excellent. That'd be the goal. And if I can help motivate people, inspire them to get something done or accomplished, awesome. And if we want to work together and I'm a great fit, then let's find some time to connect. But the YouTube channel is Karrie Klimas GPS. Or you can probably find me under Great Partnership Solutions as well. But yeah, just like sharing ideas or tips that happen throughout my day or things I shared and the work I do as well. So they're all pretty short, like under 4 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm going to link in the description. I'm going to put your LinkedIn profile there, and I'm going to put a couple of links and also the bio that I picked up from there. It's going to be in the description of the podcast for people that get to watch this. You're going to find that in the description of the video. And for people that are listening, I hope you can go back and pull up the data. If not, you can reach out to me anytime. Everyone deserves a chance. You can find me on all these other platforms as well. Thank you so much, Kerry. I really appreciate your time, and it was a pleasure meeting you. And definitely, I'm looking forward in speaking with you and gaining a little bit more clarity and what's needed here. Okay. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.